Welcome to Run an AL Object with multiple parameters. Hey, I'm Eric, and variations of these questions have been asked a lot over the last, long time. So I thought I'll actually cover this in a video by itself. So the idea of when we run an object in AL, how do we actually pass more parameters to it? And let's just cover how we actually pass parameters. So normally, if you want to open a page or report or something like this, we'll use pages here today. So we can do a page.run. We tell an object number, and then we pass a record. In this case, I'm doing rec, but I could have created another, a customer record, and then I would. So maybe I should call it something. How about that? Customer, and then I'll do customer dot set filter on the address field that it needs to contain the word road in it, and then I will open the customer list again with that filter. So now I'm clearly passing a parameter to the page, and that could be great. So let's say I actually created another page here. So here is just a simple customer page with a few fields in, and then you might think, okay, I need to control like what is shown and not shown. And one thing that I've seen quite often is that people do something like this. So on trigger on open page, and then we do like if get filter. We'll do rec. Get filter on the address field is different from blank string. Then we do something. So trying to control UI depending on what filters has been set when you're opening the page and so on. I find that a bad idea. That is not intuitive for other programmers if you look at the code. And the problem is that you end up with in cases where the object is suddenly misbehaving because it's shows stuff and does not show stuff depending on if you're suddenly using it from somewhere else and so on. So the way that I think this should be done, and actually I put an S there. Let's talk about one thing more before we actually get to the point. So in this case, we do this, but what if we created an action here instead? So we'll add first in processing, because that's how we roll. We'll create an action called test call, caption equal test call, application area, that thing. So normally if we want to open a page, we can do a run object equal page, and I'll just add the page I created for this video called customer card info EH. So let's do customer card info EH, and then we'll do what did I do there? We'll do a specify run page link saying that set a filter on the number field to be equal to the value of the number field from the customer list where we're on. So this is great. It's kind of the same thing as this. We set a filter. We could do the address equal filter road asterisk like that. That's fine also, but that's only one parameter, right? So instead of doing this, what we also can do, and actually I'm just going to comment this out so I don't suddenly stuff happens. Instead of using the run object, we'll use an action in here, and then it's basically what the code we had here we could just specify in the action. But But what if we want to add more than just, you know, a filter to specify the record, pass a record in? Then there aren't really, if we look at what else is there on as parameters on page.run, well, there's only one more parameter where you can specify what field on the page should be in focus, either as a field or as a field number. So that doesn't really help us. So we need to add more parameters to a page. And the way to do this is actually that we need to create, you know, the page as a page variable. What did I call it? Customer info card, something like that. And compared to if you come from a background of C# or Java or stuff like that, then you know that object needs to, then you'll do the page equal data type, whatever it is, .new, or however, or you will go new and then page something. That's a way to create an instance of the data type. But that's not how AL works. AL works the way that as soon as we have created this guy, it's an object and it's actually working. So we could go to our page here and then say, okay, let's add a procedure. So we could create a procedure called setup page that would take a parameter and perhaps another parameter. And then we would create some global variables here. Remember PAM1 is text, and remember PAM2 is a decimal. And then we could, let's see if we can get up there. We could go here and say, remember PAM1 is equal PAM1, and remember PAM2 equal PAM2. So now that we have a procedure on our setup page, maybe we want to mark this internal, so it's only ourselves who can call it. Then we can go here and say the page dot setup page, and we can do YouTube, and then we can pass something. So at this point, as I was saying, the object is there. The page object is memory, even though the page is not visible on screen. It is in memory, and we can do this. So let me actually show that, because if we create another procedure called, you know, get PAM1, get PAM1, get PAM1, returns a text, and just, you know, exit remember PAM1. Then let's get back to this guy. And then we'll actually do a message. And then what do we call it? The page. And then get PAM1. Let's add it. Let's try this out. So let's see if this deploys. I got a breakpoint here. And we'll just cross this one. Let's see, I think we got the debugger. Oh, hang on. Wow, I'm bad here. Let me actually call the function test call. Totally confused. We got a blinking debugger for us. So we got breakpoint. Now I'm just going to do F11 and step through this. So I'll do F11. So now we get into the setup page function in the non-visible page. And we remember the 2 into the global variables. Let's check over here really quick. That looks exactly right. And you see there's nothing in rec because the page hasn't really initialized yet from a data perspective. But it has as an object. So we go back out and we go to the next one, and then we can go into the get PAM function and we get a value here. And then out, and I'll just hit a 5 and let's see if we get something on screen. We do. So now that we have a way to tell this page what to do. We could go back to the page here and then say, okay, let's add a field here. Let's add the remember PAM1 catenary equal all, and remember PAM2 application area equal all, and we, since these are just with a caption, PAM1, maybe they're not editable. So we'll add those here. So now we have two fields on the screen, meaning that if we go back to this guy and then we say the page dot run modal, for instance, let's do modal. Let's just get rid of the breakpoint because we know what happens here. Get rid of this guy. And let's test call. Here it is. We can see that our two parameters are on the screen. So by using the object as an object, not just use the page.run, but create an instance of the page as a variable, and then use the ability that you can add procedures on the object. And now we have what did I do here? Now we have a way to pass in all sorts of things to the page. And let's do one more thing. Let's take a look at trigger on open page. And let's just do a message. Remember PAM1 and remember PAM2 here. Open page. And then let's actually duplicate this guy and do where we go on init. So we can figure out where we are in the process. So I'll hit F5 again, publish. And we'll go and do a test call. So on init is blank. Open page has the values, and of course the values are on page. So now we know that on init is actually called at the point where the variable is created on the calling page. And then we have call all our stuff, and then when we call when we call run modal, then open page, which makes sense because that's when the page is opening. Then that code is actually executed. So this is the way whenever I want to control how a report or how a page is behaving, this is how I do it. So I create like this so a setup page function that will set up all those global variables that might control things. So if we have something that, can we edit the name? Well, that we can only edit the name if this value is larger than 200 or something like that. Right. If we have global variables, we use in expressions to control the layout, which has to be in place when the page is opening, because you cannot if you want to control stuff like this, you have to do it at opening, because the page is not getting re-rendered just because you decide that it should behave differently after it has been rendered. So that is how you add multiple parameters to an object, and you can decide yourself. So let me know in the comments below how you do this, and let me know just right after you subscribed, because hey, please subscribe. And when you're done with that, then the almighty YouTube algorithm has lined up this video for you, and go check it out because it's a good one. See you there. Take care. Bye.